Welcome, everybody. My name is Danielle Pastilli, and I'm Sales Manager of Color Energy. And we've got our lovely Suzanne Murphy here, who is the Vice President. And I've been here for about 14 years now, I think. And Suzanne, how many years have you been here for now?
Let's see, since 1994. So
You do the math.
29 years.
So I'll take you through quickly just the introduction and a little bit of housekeeping to let you know what we've got on the agenda for today, and we'll get started. So we're going to start with the Color Energy Personality Test and how to build that into a coaching business. We're going to be going through sales techniques and tips using color. We're going to be doing some holistic light therapy, what it is, the benefits, and a really, it's a very easy turnkey business. So we'll take you through a few things there. And how to add this on to even an existing practice. So whether it's a new business or you're blending it into an existing business, we'll show you both ways and how you can do that. We're going to be doing a little bit of continued education and hear from a few of our masterclass graduates. I think we've got a couple in here, so maybe we can hear from them towards the end. And then promotional incentives for people attending this seminar. We are going to be giving away a free Color Energy Personality Test at the very end. So if you stick it through with us to the very end, we'll be doing a little draw for that. And also, last but not least, we'll be doing some questions and whatnot. And we're going to have this course broken down into segments. And so at the end of each segment, we'll be answering questions. So if you have questions as they come up along the way, pop them into the chat box. And then when we get to that end of that segment, we'll answer a few questions, and hopefully we'll get to everybody by the end of the class. So how about we start with some of the classes that we've got coming up? Because if you enjoy this class at the end of it, we're going to have a couple of other free ones coming up before the end of the year. So mark your calendars for, we're going to be having a free biopulsar training on November the 29th. Do you want to tell a little bit about that?
Yes, we're going to just be going over all kinds of things. I'm going to be putting it out there to some people as to what they want to cover. So at this time, I haven't quite detailed the itinerary, but it'll be exciting. That I promise you.
Good stuff. And then the next one will be on December 6th, and that will be a Chroma Life training. So although we'll be giving you a little bit of a session today, more of a synopsis on how to blend this into your business, because again, this is about promoting your business and how to get different ways into, just leveraging your time and whatnot. But Suzanne will be taking you through more detail on how to actually implement that into your business. And yes, it'll be kind of like a Coles Notes version of the regular class, right?
Yeah.
So perfect. And so that one's on December 6th. And then in the spring, March 6th to April 29th, we'll be having our first masterclass program of the year. And so we've just started in, I think you're about halfway through your masterclass right now.
Exactly.
And so we'll be doing these classes a couple of times a year. And this is really taking you through mind, body, soul, everything that you eat, breathe, sleep, and can think of that relates to a specific color, everything from your personality traits to, ways to build it into your business, how to sell products. Anything else?
Well, the focus is really understanding the color language, because if you understand the language of light, then life is that much easier.
Yeah. Perfect. So, and then we can hear from a couple of those people here at the end as well that have joined that program before. I know that there's a few of you here too. And so just to give a little bit of testimony as to what you've taken away from that particular program would be great for people who might be considering taking it in the spring. So that one's again starting March 6th. And then last but not least, April 15th and 16th, we're having our in-house biopulsar 2-day training course. So if you have got a biopulsar or you're considering buying a biopulsar, it's a great way to try before you buy. So, as you get a feel for the class today, if you've never joined us for a class before, it might be something that you want to take a look into, and we can certainly send you more details on that as well later. So
absolutely. And that course, although we focus on the biopulsar, you'll be getting your own scan daily and self-analyzing your chakra system, your aura system, your health, and you'll be interacting with other people in the class. So you'll actually be getting a lot of information shared.
Yeah. So we're going to start right now with what is the Color Energy Personality Test. And our personality test is very different than other personality tests that are out there. I know that there's a Myers-Briggs. Typically, a lot of these tests work with maybe usually around 4 colors is all the ones that I've ever seen. So,
and no association to color intelligence, just so you know, they just use color as a random way to define a personality.
Yeah. And although there might be some similarities, like I think if you look at like their blue or their red, I think instinctually for a lot of people know that, you know, red is passionate and somebody who's maybe more extrovert, where blue is more calming and more introvert. So there might be some similarities. But there's also, like, I think in the Myers-Briggs, even, I think they talk about gold color. Like there's not even, you know, the traditional scientific 7 colors of the rainbow, which there is a science to color. And so when you look at color, it does exude a certain feelings and emotions within you. You know, just to, you know, give the example of, say, red versus blue again, if you were to walk into a red room versus a blue room, you could physically feel warmer, you could feel more passionate, you could feel angry, versus you could feel calm, cool, and collected in a blue room. Whereas in a green room, you might feel more at peace with nature. It's very calming in that sense too. So these colors, and even how you decorate and everything, and what the clothes you wear, everything can relate back to your personality traits. And I remember too, like my daughter, when she was younger, I painted her room all in violet. And I can tell you, she was a little violet energy. She was very creative in many ways, and she was a little bit of a know-it-all, still probably is a little bit, but you know, it's every color does have science to it. And so ours is based on the foundational principles of science. And so there's a whole backing to that part of it. And of course, Susanne will take you through more of that as we get into, you know, more of the masterclass program and stuff. And then what was the other thing? Oh, I know what I wanted to say was this is sort of a little analogy that I have that I think makes a lot of sense for people, in that you are all 7 colors of the rainbow. What colors you know about yourself and you let everybody else see, and what colors you either don't know as much about yourself and maybe don't let others see, or maybe, you know, it's a part of yourself that you just don't allow yourself to go there. I think of it as like the layers of an onion, you know, with those top layers being the colors that you probably flip in and out of fairly easily. And those are the colors that you often, you know, you might be more extrovert when you're at work or when you're with your friends, but maybe when you get home, you're a little bit of a homebody and you tend to be a little more introverted and you like your personal space. So I'm speaking about myself there, I think too. So, you know, it's like, so you can be an introvert and an extrovert. You know, you can be outgoing and you can be shy. You know, it just depends on your different environments. So that layer of that onion can be those colors that are on the outside are the ones that you either know well about yourself or that you are most predominant in and you let others see, or in the inner core of that onion are the colors that you might not understand as much about yourself, or not let others see. So you have the ability to be organized. You have the ability to be extrovert and passionate. You have the ability to be creative and fun and spontaneous. It might not be as easy for you to do certain things. You know, maybe you're not an accountant, but you know, you can do the banking, but it's not your forte or your cup of tea, right? Yeah. So it's a matter of flexing muscles, doing some exercise in some of those areas so that we can strengthen the area so that there's not as big of a gap from the outer layers to the inner layers of the onion. So when you look at the personality test results that we have, you'll see that there will be a number association with each personality trait, with each color. And if we see that there's too big of a gap between the top energies and the bottom energies, this can show us that there's a real disconnect between certain aspects of your personality, especially if we've seen in personality tests. I've seen where, you know, somebody's had like 15 or 20 blue, and then the second color and all the other colors are maybe close together, but there's a big gap range between somebody who's always in their blue energy and seldomly in the other colors, you know, that they're very, you know, by the book
linear thinking in regards to whatever energy they use. In a way, it would be almost like an OCD of that color. So it is understanding all your colors and making sure that they're close together. So this way you're not negating aspects of yourself that you may have hidden or repressed or choose not to use because nobody ever taught you how to use it.
I think of a gym analogy. If you're going to do nothing but glutes the whole time, you're going to have a nice big booty, but you're have chicken legs to go along with it. So, we've got to work all the muscles so that, you've got
Yeah.
a nice balanced personality trait that,
Yeah.
is able to be enjoyable to all different people, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't always just blue people be with blue
No.
people. It doesn't
No.
work that way, right?
No. And also another analogy I like to give is when all the colors of the rainbow are working together in unison in equal proportions, they create white light. So if you want to feel enlightened, that means that you actually have to integrate all your colors.
Mhm.
Because if you have one intelligence that is super strong and one that is very weak, how can you ever feel whole? You're not
Mhm.
going to. And so the whole aspect of the personality test is to help you understand your energy so you know where your strengths are and maybe where, again, nobody ever taught you,
Mhm.
because often we mimic what, the people in our environment, whether it's our parents or teachers or friends, we learn from them. But if we don't have people to share with us positive attributes of one of our color intelligence centers, then how do we grow it? How do we exercise,
Mhm.
exercise it?
Yeah. And as a final example, before we go into the next part that I'll pass over to you, is that, when you have all 7 aspects of your personality and you neglect that one side of yourself because of maybe you're triggered, or maybe it's something in you that you're not comfortable to go with. And sometimes people can suppress a certain part of themselves because of trauma as a child. Sometimes people spiritually are very blocked and don't want to talk about spiritual aspects. I know when I did a program with Hershey's Canada, literally everybody in the class was completely blocked in their violet and indigo energy, which is a lot to do with your spiritual connection and your meditative, connections and stuff like that. Do people meditate? Do they pray? Do they believe in anything outside of this world? And when you see that there is a block, literally out of 33 people in the class, I think I believe that there was only one person that had violet and indigo in their top 2 colors. Everybody else, it was at the bottom, which tells me these people are not inspired and are spiritually blocked on that level.
Yeah. And they may have been very good at their job, because if they were blue
Lots
people
of blue
doing
people, yeah.
marketing, then of course they would be successful. But in order for a company also to have growth and, they have to market to all the colors, not just one. And that was another, story Inger Ness told me, as she went into a business and their marketing campaign failed. And it was a financial institute, a very, very big financial institute. And when she started to test all the people who were doing the marketing, they were all blue people, but they were marketing to other blue people because that's how they saw it, rather than marketing to people who were indigo or orange or green. So we have to understand each other's energies, because, again, everybody has their strengths of color and their weaknesses. And so if you're only, surrounding yourself with people who have a similar energy, how do you grow? How do you learn about the other energies?
Yeah. And that in this particular example too, this is not predominantly people in this industry. We often actually find people who are very high in their violet and indigo energy, but maybe lack some of those qualities that supports them with business, where they've got lots of creative ideas, but they just don't get shit done.
Well, and you know what? Healers are feelers. So a lot of people who are in the healing industry are good at supporting others. They're good at, doing healing work. But the business side of things is not the green energy. It's not the orange energy. It's not the indigo energy, which are the feeling colors. And so if you have somebody who's in, the health industry, often they're not good in business because they're not working with the other side of the brain, the left brain, which is all the business aspect.
Yeah. And again, like with this group that I was working with, what I found is that they were all being spiritually blocked. They didn't have that sense of having private conversations with some of them. None of them felt like their job provided them with any fulfillment or a sense of purpose. It was a job that they were going to. And I think when we block ourselves on those particular colors, as an example, then that's when we feel like we're not necessarily doing what we're meant to do here in this world. and, the reasons why. So,
Mhm.
Suzanne, how about you step into, how people can integrate this as, either a one-on-one coaching session versus, say, a course with multiple people?
Yeah. Well, and I want to go back to when I first started with color energy. I was learning the color language. I was learning about chakras and auras and energy medicine. And when we translated the test from Norwegian, because Inger Ness actually wrote the test based on her years as a teacher and noting that children had personality tendencies that connected to the chakra system. But she wanted to call it color intelligence because she wanted to take it out of that metaphysical realm and actually go into business application. And so, the purpose of the test was to help people identify how they think through their energy centers. And when I did the test, I had such an awakening because I'm a yellow violet, and I've literally never changed that. I'm a constant yellow violet, and understanding how my yellow and violet internally argued. That really helped me understand why I understood what I understood, but why the science behind everything was so important. Now, for myself, my lowest two energies were both emotional. Now, I have a mother who is not a very emotional person. So growing up, she had the tendency of saying to me, you have to be strong and independent because it's very important, as a woman to have your independence. So I became very strong and independent, but I didn't become that nurturing green person or that social orange person. I lived a lot in my yellow and violet. So for me, it really helped me to understand who I am as a human being, but also understanding my green and my orange were weakest. It was sort of like, oh my goodness, this is why I don't have those maternal instincts. This is why I don't need to be surrounded by a lot of people. This is why, I repress my feelings. And at that point, I very ever rarely cried. And when I did, I was rather embarrassed about it that I would actually leave the room because I didn't want to see, have people see me cry. So by doing the test, it really helped me to tap into my soul purpose and my identity. And it wasn't about a right or wrong. To me, all colors are perfect and they're perfect for you. Whatever your color sequence is, whatever your personality is right for you because this is what you grew up with. This is what you're comfortable with. But we have to get outside of our norm. And so I started immersing myself in the green and orange because I wanted to feel life. That became very important to me because I wasn't that feeling person. And even one of my coworkers had said to me, Suzanne, you only think you feel. And she nailed it because I actually thought about my feelings. Is it appropriate for me to be emotional right now? And so my thought process on that emotional level was very different. And so when I was able to tap into my orange and my green, I became more sensitive and feeling, and I felt more complete. So I see the test as such an important, tool to have in any practitioner's toolbox to educate people on their energy. And we actually had 2 outside universities study our test, and they both came back with the same answers. And their answers were, not only are you testing aspects of the personality that no other test tests for, because there's no test out there that tests your psychic ability or your spiritual belief ability. They lump you into more the linear or emotional aspects, but not the spiritual, not the psychic aspects. So we really do tap into, what we refer to as our 7 main intelligence centers, but they give you such a limited report. They're telling you about your energy, but they're not telling you how to fix it. And not that we need fixing, but in a manner of speaking, until I started working with orange and green tools, I couldn't tap into my orange and green energy because it was foreign to me. I was not a feeler.
Which then creates also physical ailments too.
Absolutely.
So this is where it starts to this gets more a little more into the biopulsar end of things. But when you are blocked, emotionally, spiritually, physically, whatever that might be, that is also going to play on you on a physical level. So for instance, if you're suppressing your voice, you're suppressing your communication and what it is that you really want to say and your truth, then you might end up with laryngitis, or, you know, I know you've had some issues from accidents and that sort of thing. That's been something that's constantly hit you in the same spot all the time. Maybe
I'll share something else with you that just, you know, is something very personal. But because I was so repressed in the orange energy, I actually had fibroids. And that actually got in the way of my, ability to conceive. So when we look at health issues, absolutely, we can understand these things. You know, it's very personal when we get into color analysis, because we're going into the depths of your physicality, your emotions, your mental way of thinking, your spiritual way of thinking. There is no test out there that does it. Now we have, of course, the biopulsar technology, which is very close, but the biopulsar literally gives you your history of your energy until this moment in time. But the color personality test is how you think innately through your color intelligence centers, or as some people may call it, the chakras. But to incorporate the test in the business, you now have a tool in your toolbox to really facilitate a deeper understanding for your clients. They can understand more about, who they are, their soul mission, because every color has a soul mission. Okay. And not everybody's mission is the same. Not everybody's intended to be violet and be that spiritual guru, everybody has their strengths in life, and we should be utilizing those strengths in our business or our career, because that is in a way our mission. But wherever we're weak, that is, I tell everyone, run towards what you fear. And whatever energy center is weakest, you have to run towards it and embrace it, because if you don't, you will always shy away from the things that can make you very successful in life. Because had I not tapped into my emotions and understood that emotional component of myself, I don't think I would feel the way I feel today. I don't think I would love the way I love today. Okay, because I thought love was something I had to think about. Okay, it wasn't that natural green heart to heart emotion. And that orange energy is that intimate relationship. I didn't have that before until I tapped into my orange. So when you start to study the color language and how it relates to our personality, you will have so many epiphanies. And this is why we do what we do. But the tools that we promote, like all the color energy products, we do it for a reason, because if your vibration in a color intelligence is weak, you better do everything in your power to raise it, because thoughts alone may not raise it. Because if you've had wrong thinking, how do you raise it through your thoughts? If you don't understand a color, how can you then create more energy in that area to actually manifest what it is that you want? So if you need help in accounting and you're low in the blue, then by bringing in the blue energy, by using the blue oils and essences and, listening to blue music, or wrapping, a blue scarf around your neck, or whatever it takes to raise that blue vibration to get you into that, that understanding of the blue, and to support yourself to do that accounting. That is what color power is all about, and so.
I was thinking too about one of the biopulsar tests that you did, where you did like predominantly your energy throughout the day, because you're learning and you're teaching and whatnot. Your energy was predominantly yellow, and you put yourself on the biopulsar after a green bath.
Yes.
And your entire aura
There's
shifted.
the picture right there. Let's show everybody the picture, because
isn't that nice? It's right at my fingertips. Yeah. So this is Suzanne's energy before, at the end of a work day, before while you were teaching and working and whatnot. And then this is after a green color bath. Now imagine too, if you had incorporated, and I don't know if you did anything else with this, but eucalyptus oils, you've got sounds of nature cooing in the background. Maybe you're nibbling on some kiwi or grapes.
I was hugging myself in the green color bath. I could tell you that because I was working with my green energy as I was doing that green color bath.
And saying kind things to yourself, like I'm patient, I'm kind, I'm nurturing, I'm loving.
Yeah.
And your energy can't help but shift. And I can tell you too, I put my mom on the biopulsar one time, And, and all these colors have got a different effect on you. So you were probably feeling very calm and very relaxed that evening. And it's like I always say it's like putting a pebble into water, and you drop that pebble into water so many times, or you exercise that muscle so many times, and you start to exude more of that energy. But I had put my mom on the biopulsar one time, and I said to her, I'm like, I want you to think of like the best day of your life. Like you're on the beach, you're getting married, the weather's perfect, you look amazing. Everybody you love and know is there supporting you. You're marrying the man of your dreams. And you could see her energy go from, the multicolors that she had in there, which most of us have. We've all got different things going on. And it went to a beautiful state of homeostasis. It was almost all perfect turquoise from head to toe. So you can imagine when you go into a meditative state, how you are that little stone in the water. It's one more element where you're bringing that state of harmony to your body. On the flip side of that, I said to my mom, I said, okay, now I want you to imagine the death of one of your grandchildren. And I said, and how that would feel. And I don't even need to let you know. And I could see her sitting on there, and I could tell that it was, she was really allowing herself to feel into that emotion for a moment. And every ounce of color dropped out of her, reading. She went completely flatline on her organs, and all of her color went gray on the screen. And I was actually blown away by that, because I just thought, holy smokes, like this is just from 15 seconds of sitting in this energy. And can you imagine for somebody who's sitting in depression and not getting themselves up, getting into nature, saying positive words, hugging themselves, being around positive people, thinking positive things,
changing their frequency,
eating
so
foods that are
eating
foods that are healthy, that are of a good solid color frequency. I mean, let food be your medicine. And so these are the things that we can see, that if you allow yourself to sit into these mind frames, how you can adjust it to something so beautiful and perfect, and allow it to flop into, with anxieties and stresses, and allowing, negative frequencies to come into our energy. So really, really important to make sure that you're surrounding yourself and using these tools as reminders that God has put here on this earth. And I always say, praise the creator, not the creation. In this industry, I think a lot of people give a lot of credit to the actual creation. And these are tools from, above. And these are ways for us to be reminded of natural medicines that have been all put here in our backyard. People who suffer from depression, one of the greatest remedies is St. John's wort. And, and in British Columbia here, we have a lot of rain in the fall and the winter time. And isn't it ironic that St. John's wort grows predominantly in British Columbia, and so it's just one of those things. All of the medicines that you need are right exactly where you need them. So, so I wanted to talk also about the, how we test the seven main energies according to the chakra system, but also the endocrine system. So can you talk a little bit about that science part?
So everything on a color level equates to our physicality. And, I always go to the 101 of color. So our main energy source is the sun, and within the sun's rays are the 7 colors of the rainbow. Now, when we're outdoors and we're receiving that light frequency, it's coming through our eyes, and our eyes via our pituitary gland then separates the colors. So every color of the rainbow stimulates a different endocrine gland. The red light stimulates our adrenals, the orange light, our gonads, the yellow, the pancreas, the green, the thymus, the blue light stimulates our thyroid, and the violet and the indigo stay in our brain, stimulating our pituitary and pineal glands. Now, each one of those glands secretes hormones, and that hormonal production creates our moods and our wellness. It creates our thoughts, our feelings, as well as it supports us physically. Okay, so for example, red light stimulates our adrenals, and our adrenals are our power to fight. When our adrenals or our red energy is weak, or our red personality is weak, we don't have the natural fight in us. And so therefore, the opposite of strong red energy is the flight or the fright aspect. And so therefore we go into that fright or flight, and because we're not feeling safe in our red energy or our red intelligence. So when we bring in a color that, for any reason, because every day you should literally, and this is why you need to learn the language of light, you should be waking up in the morning and going, okay, is there anything physically I need to work on? Is there anything emotionally I need to prepare for the day? Is there any mental, what color do I need mentally? Where am I at spiritually? And use the colors that best support you, because all colors are connected physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to you. When I have people saying to me, I want to be more psychic or intuitive, I go, great, work on your red. And people think right away, you need to be focused on your indigo or your violet. Well, guess what? You may already be high in indigo and violet, and you don't need that energy. What you need is to be safe and grounded in your physical body so you can soar higher. Because if your red is challenged and it's not very strong, then how can you actually then become more psychic? You're not grounded well enough.
It's like building a solid foundation to the house too, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got a foundation that's got cracks in the basement, it's not going to build a really steady house too. So
That's right.
this is when, negative energy can seep in if you are not, well grounded in that safe zone before
right.
going into meditative states and that sort of thing too. So,
and the color test really, really nails it, because I have so many people going, oh, I didn't think I was that low in my red, or I thought my red would be much higher, and it's sort of like when they learn the various colors and what they mean, then they really understand why they didn't have enough red and why they were having the challenges. Because when your red is strong, here's something to ask yourself. When your red is strong, you may have 100 ideas. Out of those 100 ideas, how many are you manifesting? Most people only manifest 1 or 2. You want to increase your odds? Bring up your red. You'll manifest a lot more. You don't need to manifest every single idea that you have, but if you want to have greater success, you better bring in your red.
Well, that's a good segue for our next
It
part. Thank
is.
you. Nice little. Did anybody have any questions at this point? Feel free, remember to put them into the group chat there, and we'll get to them as they pop up. But what I'll do is I'm just going to carry on just exactly from where Susanne left off. Is that, over the years I have listened to so many self-help books. I'm a junkie for audiobooks, and I'm an avid researcher. And, I've dug deep into so many different things on how to have success in business and in personal relationships. And what I started to realize while I was working with color energy, when I was listening to all of these different audios and whatnot, is that one book that I listened to was Jack Canfield's 108 Success Principles. Now, you think I can remember 2 of those? No. I really can't. But what I started to figure out when I was listening to all of these different, experts when it came to, inspirational, success stuff, is that I started to say, that's your yellow. That's your blue. That's your red. And I kept seeing the repetition of yellow, blue, and red coming up. And I started to have these epiphanies, and I was like, yellow, blue, red. And literally I was listening to so many different people, and everybody kept bringing up yellow, blue, and red, whether it was, planning and strategizing, writing things down. I mean, remember the book, The Secret, that came out way back in the day? There's a lot of missing components to that, but there were also some great components to that, whether it was vision boards and, writing down lists and, getting excited about things. Well, you get excited about it. What do? That's your yellow, right? You get analytical about it. Talk about all the different things that you would love, about what your dream house looks like, or your dream relationship, or whatever it might be. And then they say, write it down, write it down, write it down. But I think in that particular segment was that the thing that was lacking was a lot of the action steps, which is your red energy. So I'm going to give you a couple of different examples, because, we really want this to be well-rounded for not just for business, but in your personal life as well, is to, how you can implement yellow, blue, and red into creating a successful outcome in whatever idea it is that you're wanting to implement. So let's just say you're wanting to buy a house, And, what are all the things that you need to buy a house? Okay, well, let's go into our yellow energy. Let's get excited about it. Susanne, what does your dream house look like?
Oh, okay. Well, I'd like to have a few extra bedrooms so
Yeah.
I can have more people coming and staying with me when they
Yeah.
visit.
Yeah. And you might want so much yard and garden space, and you might
Absolutely.
want it on a flat ground. You might want to be in the trees.
I want a veggie garden.
Yeah. So just get excited about it. Think about what your dream house looks like. Who's in your neighborhood? Are you by yourself, or, out off grid, or are you, in the city close to where everything's convenient and there's more buzz? Like, what is your dream? You get excited about it. And that's why when we talk about when you've got butterflies, you move towards it. When you have anxiety and you get, a knot in your stomach, you move away from it. And, your gut is, what you should really be following when it comes to knowing when it's right to move away or away or towards something. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So get excited is the first part of it. Easy peasy, right? Anybody can talk about it. The next steps are literally taking, and this is a process of, could be 15 minutes. You get excited, you write, you think about all your ideas.
Yeah.
Now I want to see you put them down on paper. And there is something very magical when pen hits paper, as opposed to even typing things out. But typing things out or putting them on a notes list on your phone can also be okay. But there's something very magical that happens when pen to paper happens. And it's like,
you're taking your thoughts, you're putting it into action is what you're doing.
Yeah,
right.
For sure. And so, that script, it's almost, spelling, they say, is like casting spells, right? So it's, when you're spelling things out and you're writing them out, you're actually in the process of creation right there.
Mhm.
So writing out a list is really key. Vision boards are a great thing too, because it's still that visual list that's in your face,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's your blue energy. Now, if we just stop with yellow and blue, this is where people start to fall off because they haven't harnessed that red energy. And that red energy is the piece that comes in when you are doing something immediately. It's inspired action. When you've got that excitement in your belly about what it is that you're wanting to plan, then that's when it is that you want to take that action. So let's just say that your blue is your list. So what do I need to have to buy that house? I might need to consolidate some debts. I might need to sell some things. I might need to see who I can borrow money from. I might need to see if there's
What your minimum down payment is.
what are my RSPs? I'm going to need to call a mortgage broker. I'm going to need to call a real estate agent. There's all these things. And even if you don't think that you're in a position to buy a house, say, but this is something you really want, because this is the part about success, right? It's like, don't make it seem like it's outside of the realm of you, but that you are writing down all the things that you want. When I went to Brian Tracy, he talked about writing down 20 things in order for you to achieve the success that you want in that area. The first 5 to 10 things are going to be really easy. It's when you start to get really creative. And even if you think it's a stupid idea, put it down on paper, because from as soon as you start to write it down, something else might pop into your head that can relate off of that might be a better idea.
Yeah.
So put down the 20 ideas, no matter even if you think that they're ridiculous. And you'll start to get those creative juices flowing. And that's, again, it's getting you to work from a different part of your brain, and you're stretching your imagination. So you write down all of these different ideas of the things that it is that you need to do to achieve that success. That's your blue energy. Your red energy is now taking action on all of it. And maybe it's just one thing a day. That's all you have to do. Today we're picking up the phone to call the mortgage broker. Tomorrow we're picking up the phone, we're calling a real estate agent. The mortgage broker is going to tell us, based on your income, what it is that you need to, what you need for a down payment, what you need for the paperwork for the bank and everything else to be filled out. So, when you start to take those action steps, it all falls into place. Your mortgage broker will tell you what you need to do next. And so you're not even having to think about it. Like, okay, I need your driver's license. I need a letter of employment from your boss. Been there once or twice, and stuff. So you'll get all of those pieces, but it's important to take those action steps, at least a couple of them every day. And I mean, really great manifestors will sit down there and knock off their list in the day. Like, it's a day's work. You could have all the things, all your ducks lined up in no problem. Now, I'm going to take that same example of the yellow, blue, and red, and I'm going to turn it into relationship. We have a lot of single people out there these days, right? And people are like, oh, I would love to meet somebody, but I don't know how, I don't know where to go. I don't know. Okay, well, let's just, get excited about, what does your dream person look like? Who is that person that you want to be with? How tall, what they look like, their personality traits. And then you can put down your list of all of those things that, that you would like. And then I also want you to write down a list of all the places you would need to go in order to meet somebody. Maybe you're going to coffee shops. Maybe you're asking friends to set you up. Maybe you are going online, but
Yeah.
you're thinking outside of the box. And again, you're writing down your list of 20 things and you're going to get creative. Maybe it's a list of all your friends that you want to hit up that you think that are people that might know other connections. And then your action is that you're actually making those calls. You're getting online, you're going to coffee shops, you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and not just staying a homebody because you're not going to meet your Mr. or Mrs. Dream person from your bedroom with a tub of Haagen-Dazs watching Netflix. So these are just one aspects of things that you can do to manifest success in your own life. But when it comes to your business, this is the part that we really want to help you with and the most success. And that is, what is your business lacking right now? What is it that you need in order to create success? Having events. So get excited about what the success in your business looks like, of course, obviously, right? So the first part, what do we want our business to look like? How many days a week do you want to work?
What's on your menu? Because again, for a lot of you who are offering treatments, you want to put together the list of the services that you offer, and
which is going into the blue, right?
It could be the color test, it could be the ChromaLight, it could be the biopulsar, whatever
branding.
Yeah, absolutely. You start putting all these things down as to what your business looks like, and then you can start knocking off what it is that you need to do. Because like Danielle said, what events are in your neighborhood. When I first started with Color Energy, I wanted to broadcast this to everybody because I was just so excited to share the color word. So I just started phoning up stores, and some of them were Color Energy stores that bought our product and some weren't. And I would just say, hi, my name's Suzanne Murphy. And, this is what I can offer. I can teach classes and teach people about their energy. And I'll recommend the tools that you have in your business. I'm still on the phone here. The tools that you have in your business that will actually support my workshop and vice versa. So, I went in there and I was teaching about color. And just so you guys know, I'm gifting you all with my How to Give a Color Seminar outline. And honestly, this took me and my sister so much time to put together. And this weekend, I actually modified it and made some changes and added to it. And, I just made it that much better for you guys. But it's exactly how I started. So I would give a color workshop and I would tie it into, hey, your main energy source is light. So you need to have full spectrum light bulbs. Well, when I was doing this event at health stores, their full spectrum light bulb sales went through the roof. Okay, so I was recommending the things that were in that store. I've done classes for reflexology institutes, aligned myself with a variety of practitioners. I went into stores, but this is part of the business model that you need to create. If you're an independent practitioner, how do you get your name out there? Right? Libraries are a good resource for you to go into to, offer free seminars, because as long as they're free, you can do them in a library. So you can get people coming to a library and taking classes where you then talk to them about the next step, because the next step is always how you end any session you offer. Any event you're doing, you want to let people know, oh, by the way, this is what I do. And if you'd like to book a private session with me, or you'd like to buy any of the products that I've talked about, or if you'd like to take my ongoing classes on, chakra, the chakra system or color therapy or whatever it is that you want to do. And this is where our company can help you, because we have a lot of these tools already created. In the How to Give a Seminar outline, there's like a sign-up sheet. There's even, an example of a draw, because you always want to do a draw at the end, like it could be something very simple.
Incentive.
Some sort of incentive.
I remember too, when you created the biopulsar program, Suzanne has put together an amazing manual, how to do the readings but you've got the marketing manual.
Yeah.
And the marketing manual, I remember one of our first biopulsar owners was making over $100,000 in her first year. You had shared with me, and you would ask her, you're like, well, what did you do? And she says, I just did everything that was in the manual. So it's like, the manual has got everything from, free advertising, go to your local newspapers, different types of events to have, Suzanne listed off a few of them here. promotions that you can have. Loyalty cards and loyalty programs are another really great, way that if, clients have, either done so many sessions with you or purchased so much in product from you that they can then get, discounts and whatnot. When you're doing home parties, this is another way, when you're doing a home party, think of it like, the old Avon parties or
Oh, and I've done a
Tupperware.
ton of home parties with
Yeah.
Color Energy products and
like,
the biopulsers.
yeah,
So,
like with Tupperware parties or whatever
Yeah.
it might be, when you go in, the host of the party gets to have a discount off of whatever it is that everybody else there purchases. So if they get collectively over $500 worth of purchases, the person of the home would maybe get 10-20% off of whatever they purchased. And then you would then offer that at that party, that if anybody there would like to host a party, they would then get the 20% discount if they had 5 or more people at their place. And that's how you kind of get that residual, you get the ball rolling, and you're going to be able to get in front of other people without having to do the hard work yourself once you've got in with those, a couple of initial businesses. So I think it's a great way to when you're doing the group sessions, particularly back to the personality test, is we had a one of our seminars here. You use the seminar outline. Everybody did the personality test before they came, and I think you charged, it was like $30 or $40
it was
a
50,
person.
yeah,
And I think we
$50.
had 16 people that came, and it was like, oh, it was a couple that was maybe close to a couple $1,000s, I think, and then plus a few $100s in product sales. I mean, that's, a couple $1,000s for, I think it was a 3-4 hour seminar.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good day's work, I think, for most people. So, when Suzanne's already got the legwork already done for you, it literally takes you through what is red, orange, yellow, green, and blue.
Yeah.
And for instance, if you're going to do it with either the personality test or with the biopulsar reading, you can do, a quick 30-second readings before everybody comes in. They jot down all of their colors. And then you can start to go through, what does it mean when?
Yeah, it's all in the manual.
Yeah.
It is so easy for you guys to do. You just have to do the legwork to get the people signed up.
Mhm.
And again, think outside the box of, how you can do this. Hit your family and friends up. Maybe they'd like to participate or, host an event. So when I first started, that was another thing I did, is I phoned up some of my best buddies saying, hey, I'd like to do this. Would you host it and bring your family and friends, and let's do a party? And exactly what Danielle said, they made money off of it and product, and, we had a blast.
Mhm.
Now let's just go back to the color personality test and apply some of these things.
Okay.
So if you buy a kit of 10 tests, you're paying $30 for each test. That is your practitioner wholesale price. Now, if you just want to resell the test, then you can charge anywhere between $60 and $100. There's a 20-page report that comes with it. Okay. Or you could charge that, $100 to $150 and build in a consultation. Okay. And you may want to throw in a little product package so people start working with some of the tools. A lot of our tools, we have what we call the sampler or the travel sizes. So you can put together a little kit where people just touch in on whatever energy is the weakest. They have this little kit. And again, I give you the example in the seminar outline. Okay. And I simply just used our Color Energy little color bath kits, where they get a color bath bottle, a little oil blend, a gemstone, and a salt. Okay. So your cost is $7.49 for that kit. Retails between $15 and $20. Because again, depending on like Jan, you're in Hawaii, so your shipping costs are a bit more. So you may sell that kit for $20, and it becomes part of that package, that whatever energy is weakest, they get the product package that supports their weakest. And then let them know you have the bigger sizes or other products that will help them. So then you're introducing how they can shift their energy with products. But by doing this, you're doing the test, you can offer a consultation, and then product sales. And then you can even extend that if they want to learn more about their energy, maybe twice a year, you offer a series of workshops. And again, I have the template for this. Okay, guys. So I'm making it so easy for you that then you can focus on one color at a time and take people through every single energy center. Okay. And this is something I've done over and over and over again. You guys have no idea how many times I've actually taught these classes. So the reason why I created it in a hard copy, so you can follow exactly what I've done. And I remember one time when I was teaching a class, one of my coworkers assisted me and she went, "Oh my goodness, Suzanne, everything that's in the manual is what you covered." Well, yeah, that's why I wrote the manual. So literally it takes you step by step. Now, if you're offering a 3-hour seminar, you would use most of the material in the manual. If you're doing a 1-hour intro seminar, you just cut out stuff. Make it so you're condensing it. Or maybe you just talk about one color rather than all 7 and entice people to take all your workshops. Okay, so however you want to do it, Danielle and I can help, and Renuka actually can help you. She's not on here because Danielle and I are sort of more of the color experts. Yeah, we're gonna tag team. But whoever your rep is will help you in regards to whatever it is you want to create. We're here to help you brainstorm, but we've got all these templates in place for you to do. So that's an example of working with the color test and how you can create a business on it. And you can do the same thing with the light therapy or the biopulsar. Again, to me, it doesn't matter what tools are in my toolbox. I offer what it is that I'm promising the people. Okay, so and this is now maybe the time to segue into the light therapy component.
Yeah, and just before we do, we've actually got a couple of questions that have popped up here. Somebody's asking how they can get a copy of the manual, the marketing manual.
I'm going to be sending it to everybody. So everybody who's joined us today,
You're just doing a giveaway on it
in a real time. You have to have attended this class to receive it. If you were not part of this actual class, you're not getting it. It's only the people who have
that's a $50
signed
value,
on.
isn't it?
So make sure you put your name in the chat that you want the manual, because I don't want to miss anyone. Okay, because I want to make sure everybody that's here is going to get this manual. Okay,
Yeah.
and like I said, it's a $97 value I'm gifting you guys today with.
Awesome. There's a couple other questions that were in there too that are just getting brown now. Here, hang on a second. Oh, and then what's the highest person, the color personality, the number that goes on the test? Do you know?
I think it's 19.
I
So
think we saw somebody at a 20. I think one of my
okay,
friends was
something
like a
like
20.
that.
Yeah.
Well, just so you know, we are redeveloping the website and we are making some changes to the test. So there are going to be some newness. So I don't want to say what the highest will be in the future. But currently I think it is 19.
Yeah.
But
I think too, it's always going to depend on too, like how many, when somebody answers questions in such a way, so it might be able to go up to so high, but it's like, you would have to be lacking in a lot of other colors. Like, and certainly I know the friend that I had seen that had it.
Yeah.
It was that instance where she had really high blue and then her next color was like way down and everything else was tight together. So she was obviously answering the questions very weighted in one direction.
And let's share with everyone, if you integrate the test as part of your business, we actually have practitioner tools to give you. So you can look at the variables in the test to determine how you would actually do a consultation. Okay. Plus our master program really nails it to even take you to that next level. So you become that much more confident in your consultation. I tell everyone, I wish it was like Star Trek, like, Dr. Spock, where, I just have to, how did he do that with the, mind meld, that I can mind meld with everyone. But to get to where you want to go, you have to really delve into it and read and study. And we've got a lot of these tools with the color energy booklet and how to give the seminar template. But if you join us at the master program, you're really going to learn a lot about the test. But again, we do have a lot of tools to support you.
100%. And then somebody's asking how you sterilize the pan plate after each use.
So
aura cleanser, right?
Yeah, I do. Now, you can't spray the hand plate. Similarly, you don't want to spray aura cleanser directly on your crystal tips. Rather, spray a microfiber or a natural soft cloth with a couple squirts of aura cleanser and then wipe down your hand plate or wipe down your crystal tip. Okay, so that way what you're doing is you're releasing any lower frequencies that could be stuck in the metallic gold, and it is 24 karat gold in the biopulsar hand plate sensors, or with the pen light. This is an anodized aluminum, which means it is literally corrode free. But if you constantly inundated with with water, it could start to corrode over a long period of time. Like we're talking maybe 10, 20 years now, down from now. So if you want the longevity, spray the cloth and just wipe your crystal tips down with the aura cleanser. Aura cleanser was not only developed to cleanse a personal aura of a human, but to cleanse the aura of stone beings. Okay, because stones are live energy. So you can also use the aura cleanser to cleanse your stones. I use aura cleanser to cleanse my desk, the biopulsar hand plate. Literally, I cleanse so much. I use it actually to clean my bathroom. I use it to clean my mirrors. I use it to clean the toilet bowl because that's a dumping ground. So you want to you want to cleanse your toilet bowl with aura cleanser, okay?
We get personal here every once in a while. It's just part of it, right? You got to get used to it. That's the orange people are way more comfortable with that. The blue people are going like, oh, I can't believe she said that.
I know. And now my orange is, high enough that I'll say anything.
For sure. For sure.
Okay.
Now, did we hit this part here about the walking your talk and seeing the violet vision ahead of you?
Okay, so this is one of the things I like to share with people because it's taking you through the rainbow of colors. Because when you get inspired, literally your your violet becomes very active because that violet energy helps you to see the vision. Now, in order to, and this can go in the manifestation process, in order to then get to the next level, indigo helps you with a deeper understanding, and it helps you to let go of any fear or anxiety that may prevent you from moving forward in life. Now, as Danielle, who's a very strong blue person, knows, you need the blue energy to plan. You have to plan, because if you don't plan, then literally you're failing to plan.
A failure to plan is a plan to fail.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. Yeah. And I do believe in that because I write a lot of things down to help me plan my priority list, for example. And then next we move into the green, which is, about loving what it is that you're doing, whether you're doing healing work or you're offering products that, are healing products. And then we move into the yellow, because the yellow helps you in sales. Just so you know, most yellow people are natural in sales. Once they believe in something, they can sell it because they've done the research. They're the fact finders. They'll know the data that's behind the product. And to me, sales is not about being aggressive or, being pushy, but rather informative.
Educational.
Absolutely. And the people who educate will build the best and most loyal following, because if you have knowledge that you're willing to share with other people, people will see you as the go-to of information. So become that go-to with your yellow.
And I want us to spend a few minutes on this particular piece, because this is where I think a lot of people struggle, is in the sales part. And yes, as yellow people, because it's naturally an extrovert energy, it's naturally, it's the sunny disposition. It's a little bit more easily able to interact with people. It's natural for somebody who's yellow to be, have that charismatic sort of personality and to be able to connect with people and to be able to sell. And because you love to learn, you love to teach, you love to talk about things about, it's natural. But what if yellow is not in your top colors? How do you find that place? Especially when, say, somebody who is like an indigo, a violet, a green personality, and they're just not used to being, maybe say as extroverted or as outgoing. So how do you tap into that? And we've talked about flexing the muscles here, but I've spent a number of years in sales, in retail sales, and I know you have as well.
Yeah.
And I came from the cosmetic industry, and I was running 2 different cosmetic departments, 2 different stores simultaneously. And I was winning sales contests for a lot of the places that I worked for. And I'm talking about like cruises, $3,000 travel vouchers, a $750 motorcycle Indian leather jacket. Like, I've won some big ticket items. And when I went back, and after, just referring back to that Jack Canfield, the 108 success principles, and all the other audio CDs that I was listening to, and I was figuring out all these different success principles, I realized that I was doing things before I ever came to Color Energy, that I was doing things that was creating these successful outcomes for myself and it was my yellow, it was my blue, it was my red. And what I would do when I was doing sales contests, and I know some of you have got businesses, and I see Brian's asking about franchisees, and you're going to be wanting to train, staff and stuff like that too. You want to set people up for success. And whether this is for your own messaging or because you're training people within your business, is that you are a educator no matter what your business is. And the first thing that you're always selling is yourself, actually. So you have about 4 seconds to make a connection with people. Ask them an open-ended question so that it gets them talking. It's not just a, hi, how are you today? You want to get them talking. Oh, like, come and take a look over here and see what we've got going on. If you've got a storefront, or maybe you're doing an event at a market or something like that, come and take a look. I want to show you some things, and, tell them and educate. And for somebody who is, for example, a green personality, somebody who's a nurturer, they love, they want to look after other people, is naturally not somebody who would want to be a salesperson. And nobody wants the stigma attached to them that says, like, you're like that used car salesperson, right?
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of people say to me, they're like, oh, you're such a great salesperson. And I almost kind of take a little offense to it in a way, because it's like, I'm not trying to be silly. I get really passionate and really excited about the things that I do sell. And as a salesperson, regardless of whether I was here or when I was in the cosmetic industry, when I was in the cosmetic industry, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was not needing, the dry skin cream that was for the 80-year-old person, but I damn well needed to know how to sell it. Okay. I'm going to say that again. And in my 20s and 30s, I did not need to know how to sell particular products. I did not use particular products, but I needed to know how to sell them. So it's your job to have, if you've got a business and you want to have success in those areas, or you've got staff that are working for you, it's your job to make sure that you are educating them, or that they are taking the responsibility to be educated themselves. Provide the materials, read it over, and teach people. Now, if you don't have the material there in front of you, particularly with our color energy products, or with the seminar outlines, or with the personality tests, results, you can just read right off the pages. You don't have to have all of the answers right away. And this is the part where people get overwhelmed. So if you're an indigo personality, you might go like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. But if you are, just going over the material, you can pick up a product and you can be like, oh, okay, so this is Suzanne before the color bath, and this was done on this and this a date, and this is her on the green color bath after. Like, this is just simply from reading off the chart. It's not rocket scientist. Don't get overwhelmed by it. But again, going back to the example of a green personality, if you think about this as you're helping people, you're educating people, you're helping to fill a niche. You're not coming from that place of trying to make the sale, or, flog the next sale, or whatever it is, right? You are literally genuinely trying to fill a niche for people. And you're just telling them about the features and benefits of that particular product, because you're hoping that this is something that might help them. And when you come from that place, it completely changes the dynamics of being a salesperson. I don't feel like a salesperson. I'm always a helper. I always strive to connect people with good products and good services and good businesses. I love connecting people with good stuff. And so when I think of it like that, it's very easy to get excited about it. And then people always say like, oh my gosh, I always see your enthusiasm with your stuff. And that becomes contagious. And people want to buy from me because they see the benefit, because I feel the benefit of it as well. Even though maybe there's certain products that I don't use, I understand the ingredients, or I understand, the end result of the product. So I will sell it accordingly, because I'm educating people and I'm helping people. Right.
And you have to use your lower energies, your red, orange, and yellow, to be successful. Because if you don't use your extroverted energies and you're going, I do healing.
That was what? I do healing work. So
you got to have your little pitch down pat, and call it whatever you want. But it's education you're conveying to somebody about what it is that you do, and it's got to be good, and it's got to be short. Like, I am an expert color therapist. You want to know anything about color? That's my shtick, right? I can help you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically with the healing power of color.
Boom.
Done. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to spend a couple minutes on that yellow energy, because I think that is one of the key components, that the muscle that you're going to want to work is educating people.
Yeah.
And if you're educating people from that heart place, well, when you've got your yellow and your greens together, you're starting to come into those turquoisey colors, which is just harmony. You're right in that sweet spot, right?
Yeah. And the
So-
next color I was going to
Yep.
talk about was orange. Use your orange for sociability. Orange out of all the colors is the most social, and it's the one that allows the information to be expressed without the mental mind getting in the way.
Gets you out of your head for sure.
That's
and
right.
you think if you're too strong in your orange personality, sometimes this is the person who doesn't have a filter.
That's right.
And and maybe they don't think before they speak
But
sometimes.
somebody like myself,
Needs
who
it.
needs to have that
Both of
that
us.
emotional energy to be more, connected on that emotional level to people. Because what also helps to sell people is your emotional connection to it. Whether it's your healing service or the product or whatever it is that you're doing, you have to have that emotional connection.
I always say too, like if you look at people because a lot of people view emotions as being weak in themselves. And I'd like to ask anybody on this panel, and you can give me a quick why or an N on your answer on this one. So get ready. When you see somebody, maybe if they're on stage or if they're teaching a class and you see them get vulnerable and emotional, do you view them as weak? Plug it in. Y or N? Here we go. No,
exactly.
no, right?
Exactly.
So it's brave, right? And so this is, majority, like it's usually your own block. And it's because we've been told to, suck it up
Stifle
or
it,
stifle it or
Don't be
be strong
emotional,
or, all of these things are the messages that we've been getting. So now it's time to start changing that message. And I'm not saying go to the other extreme where you're, wearing your heart on your sleeve or you're emotionally volatile and everybody needs to know every mood of every day. That's not what I'm saying. But there is that balance, that sweet spot where you can get vulnerable with a customer. And even thank you for sharing your experience on the personality part, because I know that that's something that has been difficult for you over the years and stuff like that. So
absolutely.
it's a vulnerable spot. When you get there and you hear that, it makes you want to lean in a little bit more to that person, and it creates that sense of empathy as well, right?
It's a bond. When people share with you some of the, most intimate things, it's a bond that you share with people.
Which goes into the whole
emotional connection.
Yeah. And and this is the wrong way to say it, but when I said about, the first thing you're doing is selling yourself, but this isn't a sales pitch. It's not a manipulation, but it's that vulnerability that has people like you first when they come through the door. When they have that connection with you, they're loyal to you. They come back to you. And you think about your hairdresser that you've probably worn your heart on your sleeve with and stuff like that. You always want to go back to the same person, right? Same thing in sales.
And I think a lot of you who know me know that, I talk about my experiences with color because it's had such an impact on me in so many ways. Every one of my color intelligence centers, has been impacted on my colorful journey. Because, life is full of color. And, one of the things I want to mention earlier too is our energy emanates a color frequency. Most people don't see the colors. And there's, people who are gifted like Danielle Morton who, sees the aura. Well, most people don't see the aura, but when you see the colors that are emanating from someone, you're accessing their soul information. You're actually tapping into all their programming through the color language. Color is the universal language of light. And in fact, in hospitals, they're asking children, what color do you feel? Because the color depicts how bad the pain is. Because when children say dark brown or black, that means it's serious. If they say red, okay, that could be, heat and inflammation or, a level of pain that's tolerable. So, colors actually really do convey a lot of information. You want me to go on the next color, don't you? Yeah. And we'll finish off that color, that color range, that we were talking about is when you build up your red, you build up your confidence. And the confidence that we're talking about is your confidence in who you are. Because red is your connection to your physical body, but also your person as a person on this planet Earth. Okay. When your red is strong, you have the confidence to actually, own your space.
Mhm.
Right. But if you're shying away from what you do, or, the services and the products that you offer, then you're not living your authentic self because you're not in your confidence, and to me, I think everybody needs tools in their toolkit. And I hope a lot of people choose Color Energy products, because to me, those are my tools in my toolkit. But, we all need these support aids, whether it's people coming to you for a consultation or the support products to help shift the frequency, because when we haven't exercised that, brain, that brain portion that governs, that natural attribute of those colors, then we need to exercise it somehow. And by bringing in the frequency gets us on track with exercising it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I think I just want to hit on a couple of other questions that we had here, and then we're gonna pull into the next segment here too. So, you got to go back. I was there. I know Brian was asking about franchising a little bit, and how that would play out with some of our suggestions that we have: yellow, blue, red, that sort of thing. I think Brian, any of these things can be applied to any business. It doesn't matter whether you've got multiple businesses or what it is. And you don't have to have all of the answers for everything. You can go to the expert. Part of your blue, part of your list can be like, okay, I need to go to an accountant who's going to help to hold my hand through this process, or I'm going to go to a mortgage broker who's going to help to hold my hand through what it is that I need. You don't necessarily need to know everything that you have to have, but hopefully that answers your question. Maybe you can get a little more specific if that, if not, oh, he's got some more in there.
Yeah. And you can call me on that, Brian, because we can talk more about that, because that's not going to be privy to everybody on today's call. Okay.
And then asked about being a biopulsar rep too. So we do offer a program where we'll work with you. So for sure, get in touch with Suzanne if you are interested in being an affiliate with the biopulsars as well.
Yeah. And going back to understanding your colors, there's the positive and the negative aspect of a color.
It's almost like there's 14 personalities, really, because you've got positive and negative attributes on both. And sometimes they don't always show up.
Well, what we do is we disclose on our color test report every single color and the strength in a numerical format. So you're looking at the number spread, how close they are, if there are certain colors that are, in the same or exactly in the same frequency. Because, for example, my yellow and violet work very closely together. They're within a 2-point spread, because my yellow and violet have always worked together as a team, and they've also fought as well, sort of like siblings, right? Or family. My yellow and my violet will fight, because my violet is that visionary energy, but my yellow in me says, prove it. What's the science behind it? You have to go further. You have to understand more about that. You can't just rely on, your intuition. You have to have a deeper understanding of what the process is behind it. So my yellow and violet have always challenged each other, right? And so therefore you learn about the color combinations. But because we integrate all 7 colors, you could be a yellow violet, or a yellow blue, or a yellow green, or a yellow orange, yellow red, yellow indigo. You have all these different perspectives. And then the third color underneath further drives your main intelligence. So for example, I'm a yellow, violet, blue. So yellow and blue are both left brain energies. And my violet's like a chameleon. It can play any part, but whatever surrounds the violet is what it tends to take on. I have a lot of masculine energy, and my whole life I have been very masculine in my energy. And so therefore understanding that helped me understand why my green and my orange were repressed. So this is part of what you learn when you start to learn the color-coded key. And this is where, again, it's an education process. You have to understand the colors to understand how the colors work together and how they work against each other. And then the stronger your number values are indicating you use more of those personality traits. To every color, there's several hundred personality traits. So therefore, This is why we're so interconnected, because we are all colors. Every one of us, we're all colors. There's no distinguishing. We're all, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet personalities, but we use them differently. And our strengths tend to be our strengths for certain reasons, and our weaknesses tend to be our weakness for certain reasons. So by understanding what the traits are, then we can understand. And, for example, Tia mentioned the word manipulative. Well, manipulative is a negative red, but a positive
negative blue too, can't it?
But it's a different type of manipulation.
Okay.
Okay. So a red is, somebody who's very manipulative on an earth level. Okay. Where blue might be manipulative with words.
Or like more of a mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's just go back to the general word of manipulation is a negative red. Well, what's the opposite of manipulation? Okay. It's somebody who allows other people to express themselves and build on that, rather than dictating to somebody, your beliefs or your thoughts, right? So it's somebody who's more of that practical thinker, is that red energy. It's just like anger is the negative aspect of, passion. When you're passionate, you're using positive red energy. When you're angry, you're using negative red energy. So by understanding, the negative side or the shadow side to every attribute will really help you understand when you go negative, because yellow people on the negative can be, condescending, judgmental. They think they're superior because they think they know better.
I was almost thinking too, like you could really have manipulation weave through every single personality trait, but it comes to you in a different way. Like a red would be more of a bully manipulator, whereas an orange is like narcissistic, can be, the negative manipulator, right? Where it's like all about them. Whereas a yellow, can be a little more cutthroat with the words that they speak, right? And green might be guilting you. So each one will have, it's a little bit of a different play. But
the whole thing is you can be as positive as you want or negative as you want. But if you don't know the attachment to the color, to the negativity, then how do you fix it?
It's like looking at a mirror. And I've shared that with people before, where they thought that they didn't exude certain, negative personality traits. And I know I did the test with my mom years ago, and she's a high orange, indigo green, and she's not with us anymore, so sorry, Mom. But it's like, when she did it, she's somebody who would very much wear her heart on her sleeve, and sometimes would make situations sometimes about herself, and she'd be like, well, I don't do that, and I'm like, a little bit, Mom, a little bit. So, and of course it was that reflection of like, you don't realize some of the negative and the positive attributes that you do. And you always want to, of course, be seen in your more positive attributes. So when you see those lists of all of those attributes and you go, well, I don't think I do that, but maybe ask some friends and see whether or not you do these things. It doesn't mean you do all the negative things or you do all the positive things. It's just that these are a list of things that are predominantly encompassing this personality trait. So always weigh on to the positive side of things as opposed to the negative when you can.
Again, because every color has hundreds of personality traits, the more you understand the attributes, then you can understand, maybe why you've neglected a color, because nobody likes a bully, for example. So if you had somebody in your life that was a bully, you may have actually then walked away from your own red energy because you thought that by using too much red energy, you would become a bully. But what happens if you use that red on a passionate level, and that
you stand up for the underdog, and you
but you share that enthusiasm and passion about what you believe in, then people will resonate towards that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what have we got going on here next? We want to talk a little bit about, how we can harness the colors to enhance our business. And, one of the things are, we've got our private branding program. And this is a loyalty program. And can anybody tell me what color loyalty is? Got anybody in the chat? Oh, Rauf's over here, Rauf.
Blue.
Bad boy. We've got our camera guy, our graphics designer over here helping us out recording for today. So, so the blue energy is creating loyalty within your brand. And so you want to incorporate these aspects of color into your business in the sense that you want people coming back to you. You know, we talked about that trust factor, about that, you know, connecting with them on emotional, educational level. But this is also another way too, is creating loyalty programs where they can't get those products from just anywhere. So we allow you to use all of our products
except for Color Bath.
Except for Color Bath. And, you know, you can market them as your brand. You can change the names of them. And it's just a really great program in order to be able to create a little brand loyalty and something different, definitely a little different for your customers. And we'll also do custom blending as well. So if there's new things that you want to create, then, you know, you can create your own product that's got a je ne sais quoi for whatever the niche is in your market. If there's a specific thing that is needed in your business, well, then, you know, we can help you to create that too. And loyalty from your customers is also loyalty that you have with us as well. And that's why we love the program, because it keeps you working with us, you know, because we've got something that, you know, you can't just get anywhere. So taking responsibility for the products that you bring in. Can you remember what color that is when you're taking, what's responsibility about? Anybody? Type it in. We should be giving out prizes for the fastest fingers, right? So it's going to be, okay. So I'm actually going to go with red on this one, where you're taking the responsibility. Blue is certainly very responsible as well. So yeah, Jan, red is what we have here. So when products come in, I know that, you know, I've talked to so many people that have said, well, you know, if it doesn't sell, will you guarantee it? Or will, you know, bring something in and then not understand why it didn't sell? Well, you can't just bring something in and put it on the back shelf and hope that it's going to do its thing. Yeah. You know, I'm grateful that our products, 90% of our products, have got amazing marketing on it. I mean, all somebody has to do is pick it up and it'll tell you literally everything you need to know about that product. But when you have
Smarty Pants, how much clearer can we get than calling a product Smarty Pants?
Well, and also like, even like with all of our karma sprays, our alchemy sprays and whatnot, like it tells you how these are programmed with planetary alignment, geometric patterns, crystalline energy, sound vibration, like literally everything I'm just saying to you right now is on the bottle, and how it helps to shift your mind, body, and soul. So you could literally read off of a product like that to, you know, pass that on to your customer, and you're educating your customer. But taking responsibility for the products, and I know you and I both had similar success stories, if I had a product that was in my store that wasn't selling, I would move it over to another section of the store. I would fluff it up with, you know, some other products. Sometimes I would just be standing back and I'd look at the product and people like, oh, you've got something new here. And it's something that was old. It's something that hadn't been moving around. Or I'd put together a sales contest, or I'd put together an in-store promotion. So, you know, you can do like buy two, save 20%, or save, I would do pre-sales as well. So all of these things are things that create excitement and enthusiasm. And so before your products even come in, you can actually do a pre-sale list and offer $5 off for the product. You know, the value of the product is, say, $30, $40, whatever it might be. And for the first 10 people that, you know, that sign on, we're going to give them $5 off, and I'll call you as soon as the product comes in. You put your payment down now. Yeah. And so these are all ways in which you can get people to commit to product sales, to, you know, ways in which you can get it to sell. You're featuring it when products come in, new stuff comes in. Start talking to your customers about it before you even get it. So, you know, I would have customers coming to my till to buy whatever under the sun at the till, and I would be telling them about a new moisturizer or a new serum or whatever it was that was coming in. You know, we do that now with, you know, with all of our products. When we launched Holy Grail, every single phone call, I was like, this is what we're working on. You know, if you want to put your name down, we're giving 10% off for the first, you know, or, you know, for, you know, if you purchase within a certain period of time before the products are ready to launch. And we were selling 100, I think we sold like 150 of each piece almost prior to the Holy Grail, releasing it, which allowed us to offset some of our costs prior to, you know, us even having to, you know, dig into inventory, like dig into the production end of things. Yeah. You know,
and you can say things like, I'm only bringing in 12 because that was for my budget. So if you want one of them, then, you know, then put your name down. Or another thing I did in my store, when people came in, I'd say, oh, by the way, this is what's new. And right away, I'd be introducing them to the new product, because you want to have that engagement with people, you know, and even with your family and friends, if you're selling to them, you know, let them know what's new.
Yeah. Right. And if you're not taking responsibility for your products, what energy is that? It would be like the negative orange, right? Like, think about that childlike energy that doesn't take responsibility for the stuff that they've done. Like, you got to keep your room clean. You got to keep things organized. So you're responsible for all of these products. All these products are your little babies that you've brought into the store. This is what makes your store unique or your business unique, whatever your table at a gift shop.
Yeah.
But it's like, you have to take responsibility for those things. So
Yeah.
don't go into the negative orange side, stay enthusiastic, stay creative in how it is that you can, get these different things going, and write those lists out. And honest to God, like, you're going to have this video that you can rewatch over and over again. And you can always call us anytime. We're just a plethora of different ideas on how to keep things going. And a lot of times I just let these things spew off the top of my head. So call us anytime and we'll help you. If something's stuck. I've had people that have said, oh, Skin Renew doesn't sell very well for me. It's the only one of the therapy blends that doesn't do very well. I give them 101 different ways in which to sell that. And it's like, with less than a week, I've had customers calling me like, I'm completely sold out. It's my best seller now.
And it's one of my favorite products. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So like, it's just like, it's just a matter of going, getting excited again, it's great for if you've got a burn, if you've got a blemish, if you've got, and I would start talking to people.
I had rosacea and I kept putting it on the rosacea. Within 1 week, it was gone.
Yeah. Eczema, hangnails. And they're like, oh my gosh, like, it's all these, I'm like, put it in your first aid cabinet, whatever. So it can sell, but it's a matter of getting creative and thinking outside of the box and tapping into experts that, can help you and hold your hand along the way, whether that's an accountant or your color energy expert. So
that's right.
And I mentioned already about the pre-selling of new product lines. So having the anticipation, the foresight, and the intuitive planning, what would that color energy be? You're now bringing in your, anybody? Indigo energy for having the intuitiveness, the insight. You get excited about something, but just don't let it fall through. Make sure you hang on to that red responsibility. And
I'll give you another little tip here that often when we're learning a new product, we're learning through our yellow intelligence, because yellow is that, ability to memorize. Once you have it memorized, it actually lies in your indigo center because it becomes an unconscious consciousness. Okay. And that's what you want to do is you want to get to know the products and get to know your services, whatever it is that you're promoting to people. You've got to memorize your shtick until it becomes something innate to you that you don't have to think about it. Like now, when people ask me a question about color, the words just come out of my mouth because I've talked about that color so much and I know all the healing benefits, not just to that color, but any color. You ask me a question, I have a color answer to it.
Do you remember that game show was the pyramid game and you had to explain things in a way? So I'm going to explain something to you and then you have to tell me what color it is as I'm trying to give you the explanations. Okay. So, which one was it here that I was going to do? So this one here. So if I'm pre-selling a new product, no, hang on, wrong one. So if I'm giving a gift with purchase and I'm generous and I'm making clients feel special,
green.
There you go. See, I like it. So again, green is, how you can bring that into your business, giving people something special. And I always, when I'd have customers come in and I'd give them like a little sample, and whether it was even if it's just like a brochure or a 1 ml sampler or something, I'm like, I'm just going to put one of these into your bag for you. And it's like making them feel like it's special. Like it's almost like a secret, or I'll tell you a little something. I'm just going to put one of these in here for you. Like, it's like you haven't done this for anybody else, but it's just, it makes people feel special. Right. And so greens have a real knack for being able to make people feel important and special and nurtured and loved and stuff.
And just so you guys know, our 1 ml sampler size, as well as our little pocket rockets, the single gemstone items, the ones that come in these pouches, these are great giveaways. Like really, it costs you nothing. I had a massage therapist that for everybody's birthday was always doing an extra 15-minute massage. And she said, I was getting so tired because during a month, if she has 300 clients and, there's 12 months of the year, that means she's giving away, X amount of 15-minute free massages. Then she got smart. She started buying products that cost her $1. She said, it's cheaper for me to give them a product that costs $1, retails, of course, for $2, but costs $1, than to give them a 15-minute extra massage that literally, was an extra $30 per
time, for sure.
So use these little incentives for giveaways and, for draws or other things. Like, again, be very creative.
And what energy loves rewards, prizes, gifts?
Well, I would say the blue person.
Oh, yeah, when thinking orange, like the
Well,
childlike?
that would have
Yeah.
been my next one
Okay.
too. Okay.
So I was playing with the orange on this one. So like rewards cards. So these are, like I mentioned already about the loyalty cards and
Because
stuff,
the blue
right?
people, they're always looking to save a buck, right?
Yeah.
Where the orange people, they like the pleasure
No,
items.
yellow like to say the buck because blue will spend money on expensive things that I don't like. I'm blue, but I'm also yellow too, and I love a deal. So whereas a blue person will pay money like for like that expensive bottle of wine or like that.
But they
really
still, no, they can be, again,
still be frivolous.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Very frugal. Blues are more frugal than yellows.
And they don't spend money on random things. That's for darn sure.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
just what the necessities.
Yeah. So rewards cards are a great way then to be able to implement like, having that customer come back to you over and over again. And it can be a dollar value off. It can be a gift off. It can be a service. It can be, and the other part too that I really like is when you have referrals. And I know Brian Tracy talks a lot about this in his program where you want to work on repeat business and referrals. It's the two best ways to keep your business successful and you not having to do all the legwork. So if you've got, if you've got people that are sending people your way, then butter their hand with a little extra gift or some sort of incentive to keep them wanting to sending people to you, right?
Yeah, bring a friend and get whatever, 10% off your next order.
One of our customers, if for every 5 people that I would refer to her, my friends and family and stuff like that, she would give me a free session. So I mean, meanwhile, she's got 5 new clients that she's working with, and so that's one thing that you can do as well. So
and ask for favors. Then this goes, to the referral, just saying, hey, you know what, I'm trying to build my business. If you know anybody, a family or a friend member that can benefit from my services, do you mind passing on my information? Okay.
Now having in-store features of the week, and sales, planning in advance, this would be your blue energy, right? So if you can do things like, putting online on your social media, having something featured at your desk, if you've got a till or something that you can have that feature of the week, and you're just bringing attention to it. And this is how I would win sales contests. Is I'd be like, have you heard about the new product, or have you seen what we're selling, or we're offering a gift with purchase with this product? Because I was, if there was a certain product that had this sales incentive, via the company, this was something that I was trying to sell. But even as somebody who was a manager, even when it wasn't, say, sales incentive driven because it wasn't a contest, I just never wanted to have dud inventory in my store. So I would make sure that if there was things that were not selling very well, that I would make that a feature of the week to bring some attention to it, because where energy goes, energy flows, right?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that stuff is, constantly turning over. You don't want to have dud inventory sitting around, and certainly nobody wants to be investing in something that's not moving. So,
and now with social media, I mean, there's so much you can do on social media, and we're trying to build up the social media library so that way you guys have access to some posts that have already been created. That's something that we're going to do in the near future. But like blogs, get out there, get information out there, send a newsletter to all your peeps, once a month, and just, keep them updated as to what's going on in your business.
And I'll tell you too, my daughter actually just went to a program on social media, learning like how to get, and they want to know, they said you should be posting 2 personal for 1 business. So, the other thing that people really love is inspirational quotes. So whatever the nature of your business is, if you've got your Instagram account, it's always neat to see where you've got inspirational work, inspirational, work, inspirational, where it kind of goes like where it tic-tac-toes all the way down. So make sure that you're incorporating things about you personally, and things that are, inspirational to people, and that keeps them coming back to your content, because maybe they might not be for one, but they'll be for the other, and they'll forward things. Like I'll follow places that are, maybe they've got businesses, or they're doing their own sort of thing, but they've got lots of inspirational stuff on there. So I'll follow them for their inspirational content. And of course, then when I see something great, I forward it to a girlfriend. Well, now she's following that, and she might be wanting it for the business. So the idea is you want to try and get that, that referral, and it might be coming through the inspirational content, or it might be coming through your business content. But either way, now you've got a dual thing that's going on. So that's your violet personality coming through, and just getting creative with the inspiration that you put out.
I know on social media a few years ago, we did a ton of color posts, just educating people on some really key elements of the different colors. So if you go back in our feed, you might be able to grab and you're welcome to any of our posts, like just grab it and put it on your own social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
And all the pictures of our products too, if you ever decide you want to start putting, selling things on a website or Etsy or something like that.
Yeah.
All of our pictures are on our Shopify website, and they're there for you to be able to use as well.
Right click and then download the picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. So let's start talking a little bit about holistic color light therapy, and keep in mind, keep asking your questions, guys. I love
this is my new baby. And I have to tell something or share something with you guys. I've been using Auramed's Chromalive system for, over 15 years, I think. And to me, it was just something I do on a daily basis. And Auramed discontinued their Chromalive system. So we've now come out with the Chromalight. And with this pen light, it's a bit different because it's clickable for you to change the colors. And this morning I was doing a chakra balancing treatment on my way to work because
you don't drive.
I
Most
don't
of us drive to
drive.
work.
Yeah, I don't drive to work. I get chauffeured every day. So there I was, and I had the red light on my chin, stimulating my root chakra, because this is the zone for the root chakra. So I was doing this treatment, and this will also, strengthen the bones, the connection between the teeth and the bones, so I was doing my whole jaw with the red light. And then, all I had to do was switch the button and convert it to the orange light. And then I went into the orange area. This is all the orange area here. Okay, then I switched it to yellow, and then I did a chakra balancing of the yellow on my upper lip area. And then I did the green. I don't know if you could see this right on my nose, and I was doing the muscles underneath my cheekbone. And then I moved on to the blue, and the blue is right in between your eye area here, the bridge of your nose. So I was doing my blue treatment. Then I switched it to indigo, and I did my brow chakra area. And then of course I ended with the violet, and I spent a couple of minutes on each chakra zone. So here I did a chakra facial this morning, and this is what I'm doing every day now. And I love it because I don't have to play with the filters, because now you have the colors, and I don't know how well you can see it. It's better if I do it against something so you can see how nice and bright the colors are. And it's rechargeable, so I don't even have to worry about batteries. Right away, I can just do whatever color. And so when I had tonsillitis last week, I was doing, blue on my throat chakra and green on my chest area. And I'd lather my chest with green oils and do the green light and, do my peppermint geranium blue energy blend. And I did the blue light.
I like these have got the color discs with them as well. So if you want to intensify the color, it's great. But if you are familiar with the old pen light, I can't quite get them there. There we go. If you are familiar with the old pen light, you'll remember that the discs were kind of like a little cello,
It
like
was
a
film,
where these are a hard plastic now, so they're much more durable, and again, you can intensify the color.
And you just drop it in. And I'm going to show you another little tip, because I was talking, and I hope she's on today. But I just threw the yellow light in, and what I'm going to do first, I'll put it on the yellow, and then put in my yellow frequency. And if I want to supercharge any of my color formulations, I just put it on top of the light, and you can see, I hope you can see how the light is tonating the formulation. So I'm now supercharging this yellow oil with yellow light. So now I've just created a stronger formulation. Absolutely. So honestly, I'm just so excited about this new pen light. It comes with the broad tip, and then you also have the puncture form tip. This is awesome if you're doing fine lines. So, if you're doing fine lines around the eyes or something specific, like I have a little divot here, as well as, you want a free treatment. So you can actually then massage the puncture form tip on the reflex zones of the hand. And you can do that by just stimulating it by pressing and releasing, or you can massage areas and you look for crunchies, because wherever the crunchies are indicating blockages. That's just a
And just
quick
to say
little
that too, my grandmother was suffering with vertigo for quite a while, and typically does on and off here and there.
tip. Mhm.
But it was so bad this one particular year that my mom had actually thought that vertigo was going to take my grandma. Like she just thought that this was, and she was in her 80s at the time. And so I know you had told me about, get her using the pen light. So I went
Yeah.
and I spent an afternoon with my grandma on a Friday, and we used some indigo oils. I think we used myrrh. I might even just use the indigo chakra blend, because I know myrrh helps with middle ear. And we did counterclockwise treatments on the back of the hand, or on the front of the hand, and up the pinky finger. Now, this area here is very close to in this area here. So if you've got stress here, you've probably got stress here. And what you often feel is those little crunchies that Suzanne was talking about, where it's kind of gritty in here. You'll feel like almost like little
It's hardening. We
calcifications,
call them
right?
hardening.
Little calcifications that are in there. So I was doing this treatment on her and just talking to her, and then I did a little bit of a zone treatment, and I did work with the indigo, but this was an orange treatment that I was doing here on the hand. And I am not kidding you. After months, we were about 3 months with my grandma, where she was having vertigo spells so bad every day. She was either throwing up, passing out, or being taken to the ambulance, taken to the hospital by ambulance. And I did one treatment on her. She had not gone out of the house for over a month and a half at that point. And on the Sunday, she felt well enough to come over for dinner. So when she came over for dinner on the Sunday, I did another follow-up treatment on her for even less time than I did the first time.
Right.
And the funny thing was, I was working with the orange pen light. Now, Graham's got some arthritis in her hand, and so she can't make a fist that's past this. And after I was finished working on her, she was so excited, because it was for the first time in ages she could actually do this, because secondarily, this orange light helps with flexibility and mobility with the tendons. So she was super excited about this. And I'm like, well, that's great, Graham. I'm glad you've got some mobility there and your hands hurt less, but I'm looking to see the long-term results of the vertigo. And she went an entire year without a vertigo spell after those 2 treatments. An entire year.
And then you did another
And
one.
then I met her in the hospital when she had it a year later, and I did it again, and it went an entire year without another spell. So it's been, Graham's going on 97th birthday in the next couple of weeks now too. So that was a number of years ago. And I will tell you, this pen light is like, it really is like a little magic wand.
Yeah.
So
And
that's just one of
remember,
many examples.
nothing works faster than the speed of light. So when you're doing light therapy, literally as fast as you put the light on a point, it will travel throughout your whole body and get to the organ that's associated with that color, or organ network that's associated with that color. Okay.
And we're light beings. So this is literally food for your cells, is what it is, right? So it's, when you're feeding that color frequency, you're feeding your cells the color that you need. And I love this one. Oh my gosh.
So this is also a new tip with this pen light. It is pointed, so it's not designed to, stimulate the reflex points on the skin, where the other one you can actually glide, or the 2 other tips you can glide on the skin. With this one, it's just more for the color
point.
Because it's a nice pointed tip. So
but even I like too that it's broader. So even if you just sat where you're watching TV, or, you, like you said, you had your laryngitis or whatever it was, and just to sit there, just having that broader color or whatever like that,
it's just a broader tip. So it's a really, anyways, really nice piece. Okay. And then I wanted to share, because not everybody knows, it also comes with this beautiful A note chime. So before you even do a treatment,
it's like a singing bowl. It just carries
it does.
tune for
But
so long.
what Sandy had mentioned, and I really like that she said that, a lot of the tuning bowls are at such a low octave that it doesn't necessarily penetrate the etheric layers. This is such a refined chime. It's at a very high vibration, and the A note stimulates the brow chakra, which really helps, because that's a gateway into our unconsciousness. So when we're doing light therapy treatments, we can do the A note to activate the brow chakra to, again, just sort of, expand our consciousness of whatever healing treatment that we're getting. But the crystal is just a clear quartz crystal rod. And again, you just tap it and it will play the A note. So it's just beautiful. So it's great for clearing space. I actually wrote about the different applications of what this chime can assist with. And there is a homeopathic dropper. And like I had mentioned too, you could either put a product right on there and do the light therapy, or you can put water into this essence bottle and just tonate it with color. And I'm actually I had an epiphany last night, or a download, or guidance from higher above. I'm going to do the violet, and I'm going to put drops in my eyes and see if it improves my vision. So sky's the limit. I'm gonna be testing this in so many ways, because like I said, I'm like a kid in a candy store with this one. And I just love the fact that you can go from, one color to another color just with the click of the button.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I hope that excites you, that you're going to want to get one.
Yeah. And so I've got I'm going to jump ahead here, because we might as well just talk about the cost of the pen light then as well. And I want to talk about some other aspects about how you can incorporate this into your business too. So with the pen light, originally our old pen light was $1,499. And this new pen light is $1,297 with all of these extra attachments and the chime. We've also got it where is this
$1,497, and you get the home study program.
Yeah.
So if you buy what we're calling the platinum package, you get $100 off, and you'll get the correspondence course valued at $300, but you're only paying $200, so you get $100 off.
Yeah, perfect. So
okay.
And then if you're interested in our in-house training, you just connect and let us know, and we'll get you on a list. I know Suzanne's working on getting an online program going, because I know there's many of you that aren't always able to come out and see us.
2024.
So that'll be coming out in the spring. But in the meantime, if you are interested in doing one of our in-house courses, we just need to build up so many people that are interested first. And then once we've got enough people, then we can look at doing that. So just get in touch with us for that.
Yeah.
But just wanting to touch a little bit on a couple of different ways in which you can incorporate this into your business.
And sell products, because
yeah.
I just want to mention quickly that when you're doing a treatment on someone, integrate products into the treatment, so then people will learn what to do. So for example, if somebody has digestive issues, you could simply teach them to apply a yellow chakra blender essence to the reflex zone of the solar plexus chakra, and then you do the yellow light treatment. However, you can send them home with this and maybe the yellow gemstone, and they can take the gemstone and use it to actually stimulate the reflex zones in their hand.
And we've actually got some people that have purchased themselves a second pen light now in order to be able to rent that second system out, that they've got one that maybe if they're doing treatments on a regular basis, they don't necessarily want to rent that one out. But it is a way that you can maybe be making an extra, a couple $100 a week. If somebody's going to be paying, say, for instance, a treatment with you would be maybe say what, $120 for an hour and a half treatment possibly. And if they were able to rent this device from you for $25 a day, that would be a deal and a half if they took it for over the course of a weekend.
Yeah, I would charge more
50?
than $25 a day. Yeah. Because of the fact they can actually do 2 to 3 treatments for that rental period. So you want to actually rent it out for about $75 a day.
Okay.
Because if you're charging $100 for a treatment or $150 for a treatment, but they rent the pen light for, a day or two,
they can do
then they could do,
treatments.
Because I tell everyone, when we do one treatment, we're just getting to the area, versus if we do multiple treatments, we're really then getting the energy to stick so it stays permanently. One treatment has the possibility to rebound and go back to the original state, because again, we haven't done enough to make that permanent change.
Yeah. And this is very easily incorporated into, like, if you have a reflexology business, that you can use the point tip is ideal for, using on, like Suzanne showed you on the hand, but also on the zones on the bottoms of the feet.
Chakra balancing on body, you can facials. This morning, because I did the chakra treatment, just a quick little tip here for you. Orange is the color of the child. And to have that youthful appearance, orange is the best color for removing
Anti-aging.
brown spots,
Mhm.
for popping out wrinkles. And so I tell everyone, you know, if I don't have anything specific that I'm working on, I'm actually just doing orange facials in the morning. And that's what I do. So anyways, I think that helps with my complexion and my youthful appearance.
Yes, yes, for sure. You look great for 95.
Yes.
Sorry. Sorry. Just
Well,
kidding.
you know, I actually did that as a joke one time with a class, saying that I was something like absurd, you know,
Yeah.
because I just wanted to
Like, you
indicate
look
how,
so good.
yeah. But just so you guys know, I am 61. So this is a, you know, Chromalife face of 61.
For sure. And then just encouraging people to have, you know, to like what Suzanne was saying, using the products, you know, taking these tools home and using them, because when they use them at home, it's like that, what did I say, that stone that was going into the water, it's like a drip, 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 you know, you want to keep that vibration going, because even when you're not thinking about it on a subconscious level, these tools are still working their energy on you as well.
Yeah.
So how are we doing there, guys? I think we're getting
We're
close.
almost at the end of
we're getting close to wrapping up here and stuff. So maybe if we have a couple people that wanted to tap in and be some testimonials or talk about some of their experiences. I know Celine was saying that she was loving her new pen light, and I know there's a couple of BioPulsar owners that are in here as well, and our masterclass. People, you want to take off your microphone and you want to share maybe a personal experience, we'll maybe take a couple of those on before we wrap up our end of our class today.
Yes, I would love to hear from you guys, because I get people all the time saying, I never hear anybody talking about your products. Well, this is your opportunity to actually tell us about how much you love our company and maybe different tools that we have. We would appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody, what do we got? Jan? Celine?
Okay, yeah. So I actually did I used a pen light yesterday or a couple of days ago on a friend that I was doing a trade with. And all the while she was like, oh my God. Oh, oh, oh. I'm like, okay.
So she could feel things happening right there and then.
Yeah. And she was like, just report. I mean, she couldn't help herself, right?
Yeah.
But she was reporting on where she could feel things moving and, you know, are you there? Are you here? I mean, it was
awesome.
Pretty funny. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing,
But
Jen.
it seems really this one, I will say, if I can, a lot stronger than the other pen light.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because the other Chromalife has 1 watt of power. This has 3.4. So the light intensity is that much stronger. And I just want to show, you know, again, look at how strong it is. I charged this like 2 weeks ago, and this is my own personal use, and it's still going so strong on the same charge. It's just amazing to me. I'm truly loving the new pen light myself.
When I'm personally, you know, selling the pen light, the educational part that I love, and this is the part where, again, taking it from a sales technique, is I love sharing other people's experiences, because I know it might help other people. And so, like, where I shared with you my experience about my grandma, when I'm telling other people about that, and they're like, oh, I know somebody with vertigo. And I'm like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that person who's like, you know, or I've told about when I'm telling people about the pen light, I'll tell them about my friend who had really bad knees and was able to go such a longer period of time without needing painkillers, because he did one treatment on his knees with some essential oils and the pen light, like the difference that made. And people are like, oh, well, I've got bad knees, or I've got bad hips, and, you know, oh, digestive issues, oh, parasites, oh, like, I mean, the list just goes on and on. I mean, you put the pen light in your belly button for 15 minutes, you've completely cleansed all the blood in your system through your navel. Your navel is still a feeding tube. Like, this is where you were born from, like what fed you, and you've got all these nerve endings in the inside of your belly button that are really sorely neglected. I don't know if anybody follows Barbara O'Neill or not. You know, she's kind of like a health hacker out there. She talks about putting castor oil in your belly button. and, different essential oils and stuff. And, we've got this zone, and we've been talking about putting the, the pen light in the belly button for so long, but it was just like, hearing it from somebody else, understanding that there's all these nerve endings that are in there. All our blood passes through there. And
you
stuff,
know what,
right?
even just this weekend, I went to go visit my mom, and I had the red light propped up in my belly button to strengthen my blood because I just got over a cold. So I wanted to bring in more energy. Yeah, absolutely. So I think I did a half-hour red light treatment in my belly button.
Yeah, for sure.
One way. And back it was the violet to purify the blood, because violet is a blood purifier.
Excellent. Does anybody else want to share anything? How about maybe one of our masterclass or BioPulsar owners and some of the you've had?
Yeah, I could share something. So we just got done having an event yesterday at the Psychic Fair in Redondo Beach. And so there are a lot of other aura technologies there. And we had this couple come up with their aura reports. And they were talking to us about it, and they were asking us what we thought, Andrea and I, about the report. And I said, well, I really don't know that much about that technology, but why don't you sit down and we'll do, an analysis on you, and then we'll do a comparison. And it turns out that that aura technology that they were using was completely off. The colors were off, the chakra percentages were completely different. And then so I said, well, what does this mean? I go, the technology that we have, so I don't want to put this technology down, but, our technology has a lot more data points, so it creates a more accurate reading, things like that. And they said, well, now that, they were telling us that we're low in this chakra and this chakra, but they didn't give us any solutions. They said, because we asked them, well, what can we do about it? And they're like, well, you can, do some research and find your own, remedies. And so then they asked us, and they said, well, that's what we're all about. We can tell you what's going on, and we have all these products here to help raise your frequency, in these different areas. Anyways, so they're completely blown away, super impressed. That was one of the people that was asking us about franchising. And because they had their own their healing center and things, and they wanted to incorporate that. But that was a really good experience for us to see how awesome the BioPulsar works.
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you, I've done hundreds of shows with the technology and with color energy products. And, I have such a long lineup because people see how much more detailed the BioPulsar is. Yeah. And our system is the only system that was created by a full body clairvoyant. 3 of the technologies that are out there were created by engineers that had no clairvoyant skills. There's one system that was actually created by somebody who is, energy sensitive to a certain degree, but is not a full body medical clairvoyant. So this is why a lot of technologies are limited. And this is another reason why, I love the BioPulsar, because it has validated, to me personally, over and over and over again, how our products are successful.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and I just want to keep asking everybody to continue to stay plugged in with us, because we've had people who have, they've kind of gone and done their own thing for a little while. And then when they come back and they plug in, they're like, oh my gosh, why did I come in? And it's just like this meeting of the minds. And I know that like our master classes, you're doing your graduate classes as well, where it gives people an opportunity to come back together again and share these experiences and share these ideas so that, we can keep plugging into each other. Like, what's working for you? What's working for you? And, and how can we help each other out in business? Oh, and Tex has come in to say hi, and he's getting a little excited, a little hyper.
That's my puppy dog, who's now 6 and a half.
He's sweet. He's the best. He's the best color energy mascot ever.
Yeah.
So, thank you for everybody for joining us today and for being part of this class. We know that you guys have got really busy lives and everything, and don't plug out just yet, because we've got our draw that we're going to do. But I just really wanted to take a minute to say thank you for making time for us to be part of your day. And we hope that you were able to get some content from this, that you'll be able to implement some ideas. Remember your yellow, your blue, your red. You might not remember 108 success principles, but I'm sure you can probably remember those 3 basic principles that, will remind you of what muscles to flex. And when you work those first 3 colors, what are those first 3 colors? They're primary colors, right? And what does primary mean? First. So work those areas first. And then if you're naturally a green or an indigo or an orange person, everything else is going to fall back into place for you. So, but it's just working on those first areas that might not be your strongest areas. They might be your strongest areas. Maybe 2 out of 3 of them are, and you're already a step ahead of somebody who maybe doesn't have those areas of strength. But working on those areas, it's going to make everything else just fall into place naturally. You'll have a successful healer feeler business. You know, healers and feelers can be successful as well, but you just have to work those areas that aren't predominantly in that energy.
Yeah.
So,
and I want to share something else that I recently told you. One of our master program students, Alice, I don't know if she's online. She was going to try to make it today. But Alice had mentioned to me that she has taken a lot of courses in her 72 years of life. I hope you don't mind, Alice. I'm giving your age here. And she said that she is learning so much out of the master program. She said, I thought at 72, I knew myself. And now I really am finally understanding who I am. I know that program is life-changing for people. So I hope you will join our next series of masterclass program, which includes a home study course, which is a 2-month program. It also includes 21 pre-taped lectures and then 8 Zoom classes. So it's quite a comprehensive course, and I'm having a lot of fun teaching it, as well as.
And I'm the one that typically gets the feedback. I'm sort of the one that's stacking the course, and then I end up getting a lot of the feedback. And I know you get a lot of your BioPulsar customers going to it too, but a lot of the feedback is just like what Suzanne's saying, is that they're learning a ton about themselves. They're learning a ton about how to communicate with other personalities. And, you know, we all have to work with different people in our life. We all live with different people in our life. And so recognizing traits that people might not even recognize about themselves allows you to go to those places on how to communicate more effectively with them. You know, and just as one example, we were talking earlier today about, you know, if I was to take the same kind of energy and communicate with a red person the way that, you know, if I had to say, be direct with a red person, and I took that same energy and my red energy and directed that at a green person, I might make them cry if I needed to be as direct about something, or something needed to be worked on. So if you have a business and you are, you know, you need to talk to people, and then you need to refine their skills or whatever it is, you know, a red person wants you to be direct, whereas a green person would want you to be a little more nurturing with them, you know, so you need to speak to people in the way that they,
in their language.
what their language is. And a lot of people will end up, you know, speaking to people in what their own language is. And as a business owner, and as people who might be working with other businesses, you know, you've got other suppliers, you know, whatever it is, that you'll want to match what their energy is, so that they're able to receive your message better. So some people naturally will read people, and they just, you know, they just naturally know, but putting this into a color language, you have a really great idea. I mean, I can meet people, and I know you can too, within, you know, 5 minutes, get a really great sense of all of their positive and negative attributes from a 5-minute conversation sometimes.
Because you hear their words and how they talk. You know,
are they
because
extrovert? Are they introvert?
And wordplay comes in here, because a yellow would say, I think, you know, versus an orange person might say, I feel. You know, a violet says, I know. You know, so when you hear people talk, you start to see them in the color language. And that, I mean, it's truly phenomenal to connect with people on that level. And for anybody who hasn't done the test that would like to do it for themselves, we will offer the test to you for $30, regular $60 as a trial. Just let me know, and I'll send you a code so you can get the test for half price online. Okay?
Perfect. So remember those dates for the next classes that are coming up. I hope you'll join us. The next one is going to be on November 29th, and that's for the BioPulsar. So great way to
You'll learn about chakras and colors and auras. It's going to be a fun class.
And how all the colors affect all the different organs and glands and that sort of thing.
There's always going to be takeaway for anybody who joins, whether you have the technology or not.
Yeah. And then December 6th again for the Chromalight class. So
where you'll learn more about light therapy. Oops, turn it on.
There you go.
Ta-da.
Perfect. So I think that covers everything today, Suzanne.
Yeah. And now we're going to do a draw. So if we pick your name and you're not here, you're not getting it. We're going to move on to somebody else who actually waited until the end. So
it's out of these ones. Okay.
Yeah. You want to
So I'm
close
just
your
gonna,
eyes?
so it's just a,
yeah.
I'm going to maybe just drop my pen and see where it goes.
Okay.
It's rolling. Hang on. Right.
Oh, I was looking for where it hit.
How about this one right here? This is Celine
Bellamere.
Bellamere. And I think she's driving.
She's right there.
Where is she? There you are. Hi.
Yay, congratulations. I will be sending you a test token so you can do the online test just for joining us. And I've got lots of things that I'll be emailing everybody who joined us today, including the manual. And yeah, if you have any questions, we're just a phone call away, and give us a call, and we'd love to chat more about how you can integrate colors or the milepost or ChromaLive in your business. Anything we could do to help you, we're here for you.
Absolutely.
We're your color team.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today, and much love to you. And thanks for a great class.
Thank you.
All right, guys,
Awesome.
take care. Bye now.